Do you remember Meghan and Harry's Australia tour in 2018? Well, some new reports confirm again that our Duchess hated every second of it. And there are more than a few clues, including some contradictions in Harry that you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Yeah, I know that hated every second are rather strong words, so instead we could pick something more polite, such as despise it with all her guts. But these new reports come from Tina Brown's latest book, allegedly thanks to Palace employees that were very keen into recalling their first-hand experiences with Montecito's most infamous prima donna. And that's a shame, because I was reviewing the videos of that visit, and something that struck me immediately was that everyone around them, everyone was delighted of seeing them. I mean, it was not only on the facial expressions of being happy and euphoric. It's like they couldn't believe that they finally had Harry and Meghan in the flesh. And this is a good reference for whenever you see the Harkles now. You never get to see again this kind of reception, this warmth from people. That was a massive amount of goodwill and good vibes. So the question remains, why did Meghan hate it so much? And there is one critical concept, that is representation. And it has a lot to do in how humble you are. And yes, we are not that used to find the words Meghan Markle and humble in the same sentence. And that was the main problem with this visit. According to this report, Meghan was furious with the fact that, yes, people were expecting a visit from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but they were going on that visit not in a personal way, but as representatives of the monarchy. That is another concept that Her Majesty the Queen has championed for decades. Selfless service. And that's okay, maybe it was hard for Meghan to understand, being so new to the job. It's like those interns that want to change the whole company on their first day and have a hard time understanding that first they have to know the rules and play by them. We know Meghan enough to realize that this didn't go well with her. Now, in regards to body language, the other thing I noticed is that Harry was much more happy and relaxed. There are videos such as this close-up where you can still see that sparkle on his eyes, that small clue of being excited by the future. Yes, it's obvious that Harry had much more experience as a working royal than Meghan, so maybe that was the reason it looked like he was on his medium. But we need to remember his own remarks of not liking this job. For example, watch these two scenes closely. In both of them, Harry and Meghan are interacting with children. And as usual, this is the moment that you should let your intuition grab the wheel. What do you feel in each case? There's a very useful hint. Don't just look at the Sussex's body language. I give you the answer right after we talk how Harry's relationship with Meghan hit a crossroads at that moment. The luxury of being able to see their behavior in hindsight is priceless, because it allows us to study human behavior in such a way that we can identify these patterns in others. Now, we know that at the very least, Harry had the idea of reducing duties as a working royal, at least to 50%. You know, that 50% deal that the Queen rejected almost instantly months later. But at this particular blip in time, Harry was genuinely excited of sharing that 50% of royal duties along with Meghan. There was just only one big problem. That he must have noticed that she was not in sync with the idea of not being the center of the spotlight. And that's really ironic, because anyone can tell you that a big part of Meghan's appeal to the public is that she was one of us, a commoner. In other words, they were actually there for her as a person. That was Meghan's magnet, being relatable as coming from a non-royal background. She attracted people thanks to this, but she couldn't stand the fact that she could not act as Meghan, but instead had to work as a representative of the monarchy. You realize that this is some kind of paradox, right? But the fact is that this happens all the time. And before you say that you saw right through Meghan from the get-go, nobody can deny that millions truly loved her. She had that golden chance, the same chance that Catherine had, but acted in a vastly different way. And this is a common feature in human behavior. When you say that you love a movie or a series, it depends almost exclusively on the characters. If you say that you love your workplace, it's because you feel at ease with the people you work with. If you love the British monarchy, it's because you love, well, most members of the monarchy. And that is one of the reasons so many authors and royal pundits agree that if there is one person to save the royal family's image, it's Catherine. And it's because her personality. You realize that no matter how much you know about her activities as a working royal or her role as a mother, there's still this veil of mystique about her. You find her relatable as a person, but at the same time she makes sure to keep her poise, to keep her image as a working royal, but in a candid way. That's why one of the biggest mistakes that the Harkles could have done to themselves was the Oprah interview. Because yes, on one hand they managed to rock headlines worldwide and gain massive attention. But at the same time, they destroyed a huge chunk of mystique, of what made them interesting, which is precisely what we didn't know about them. They literally blew up their image in doing that. What's even more tragic is that building that image takes years and just minutes to destroy it. And the process of building is never easy, and that must be the reason in so many instances of Harry and Meghan's trip to Australia, her smiles were not full, were not genuine. But I'm not gonna judge her about this, because there are so many things in life that you have to learn to enjoy, that you literally have to put in the work to enjoy them. Just like enjoying playing a musical instrument, you have to put in enough hours of practice. But Australia's trip was proof that Meghan was not willing to put in the work. She wanted people to listen to her as a person. And that is one of the reasons she so adamantly adopted the Duchess of Sussex title with such a strong devotion, because this is a way to harness the clout of the royal family, but at the same time be focused on her as a person. And that attitude can only trigger events such as what happened at the Fiji market on that same trip, where Meghan was greeting women and all of a sudden, not even 15 minutes into the visit, she stormed out. Recollections may vary, but allegedly she hissed at one of her aides and treated her badly in yet another bullying incident. From what I've seen about Meghan's behavior, she prefers to hang out with powerful people, people with status, people with power, people that in some way or another can lift her up to whatever level she wants to be. So it's not surprising that being in a market with the heat and a lot of normal people around, she was not in the best mood, so she decided to just leave. Maybe that aide said that it was not the best idea or even hesitated for a moment, which ultimately led to that exchange. So much for anything remotely related to selfless service. Now we come full circle to those videos when they are interacting with children. And it's important to realize that whenever you're trying to analyze body language, you look not only at the person you're trying to analyze, but also at the people they're interacting with. What I found most relevant is how the little kid that was with Harry felt so comfortable that he even reached out to touch Harry's bird. And the expression of amusement of the woman right behind completes the effect. Harry, on the other hand, was really comfortable and relaxed. You need to focus on the shoulders to spot the real emotional state of a person. That kind of scenes of being comfortable with children is something natural for Harry, and there are countless videos that show the same relaxed interaction. That doesn't happen with Meghan, and you know that small children are natural body language detectors, and they know when something is just off with someone. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.